Welcome to the Hawley Area Community Show. I'm your host, Jody, and I'm here at REACH in Hawley, Minnesota, which is a nonprofit for the local small towns around Hawley. And I'm here with Amy Ebert today, who's the Family Support Coordinator.
Yes.
And I'm her boss, so I really should know this. And she's the Food Shelf Coordinator, right? And I know this too. She's also the volunteer coordinator. So she's got a big job here at REACH, so I thought it'd be fun to talk to her. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We have spoken before, but we're approaching the end of the summer, and I just thought folks would like to know what sorts of things are going on now and looking toward the future, what happens in your department. So first of all, I know we've got the school supply drive this week. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
The school supply drive is all based on donations that we get from people around the area. It helps with getting those school supplies that really do add up to a lot of money for the people that can't afford it. We serve people in Hawley, Ulen-Hirdal school districts, Glendon, Barnesville, Lake Park, Norman County. All over our service area, we get people that will come and make the trip to get their school supplies because they have to have it. So.
And that's, as you said, school supplies, but also I know you get quite donations for backpacks and
yeah.
the whole,
It's fun to see the backpacks that come in because we get some that are just really, you can tell they took time picking it out.
Yeah.
And so that's always fun because you know it's going to make someone's day.
We have some real generous people in the area. I know they do this also through United Way in Fargo-Moorhead, but what if someone from Fargo-Moorhead comes to get the school supplies?
The only time that happens is if United Way runs out of backpacks. Sometimes we get referral from Moorhead. We haven't had anybody in the past from Fargo, just because that's outside of our area. We've had, I think we had 2 people last year that were referred to us because we actually end up with a better stock of backpacks than United Way does.
That's great. And so basically you're talking about these small towns, though, in Clay and Norman and going into Becker County. Wonderful. So that will be happening this week. What else now approaching school time? Do you have other things going on for specifically students or kids?
We do. We have the backpack program that we do. This will be our 3rd year doing that. It's pretty much run by the volunteers. They pack the bags, they deliver the bags. It's expensive. The food for the backpack program actually costs more than the regular food for the food pantry. I don't know if it's just the name brand or what it is about it, but it is more expensive. And we make sure that we get that to the kids weekly no matter what.
So last year, I think we served right around 50, between 40 and 50 students, right? This is in Hawley and Ulen-Hirdal, correct? And so when you say backpack program, you don't actually give them backpacks, right?
No, it's meant to be nutritious food to feed the kids through the weekend, because when the kids are in school, they get their free or reduced lunches, but that's obviously not an option once they get home. And so it started where people, teachers and staff members, were noticing that the kids were kind of out of it and not as in tune as the other kids, and they found out that a lot of the kids hadn't eaten much over the weekend.
So this is so that they get some nutrition over the weekend, and then they go back to the food that is served, the hot meals in the school. Then during the week they're getting fed well.
Right.
So we could just use money for that. I think last year the program cost about $8,000, and we did get some help from United Way with that as well. But we're going to take a little break here and talk more about all your duties around this joint. We'll be right back. And we're back with Amy Ebert, the volunteer coordinator, family support coordinator, and food shelf coordinator at REACH in Hawley, Minnesota. REACH stands for Rural Enrichment and Counseling Headquarters. And it's a very unique place because many times in a town as small as Hawley, you do not see a nonprofit that does as much as REACH does. So there's counseling that we provide for people here, where counselors come and provide those services. We've got our food shelf, which gets roughly around 50 families a month, would you say?
It can vary from 40 to 60.
40 to 60 families. We've got the family support program, which you're in charge of, where we get Salvation Army money to help with people for their basic needs when they're just unable to pay their bills. And then we've got our volunteer program, and we've got the Dress for Success program, and we'll have to talk about that another time, because now I'd like to talk a little bit more about your volunteer program, which I know has increased in number, I think, in the last year. And so it's quite a well-oiled machine. How many volunteers do you have now?
I think as far as how many I can go to, there's over 100, close to 100, right around there.
Which is wonderful,
Yeah.
because really an agency like this could never function without volunteers. They do so much. Can you tell us a little bit about what a volunteer does at Reach?
We have volunteers for just about everything. We have volunteers that help with the thrift store. We have one paid staff person, so they do everything else. We have volunteers that stock the food shelves. We have volunteers that distribute the food when they come. We have volunteers that help clean, help with recycling. We have our driver program, which is all based on volunteers driving
Senior
seniors.
citizens.
Yep. Mostly to doctor's appointments. Pretty much everything that goes out to people, the holiday food, everything, there's a volunteer involved with it. And really, I'm just kind of to help make sure things are going smoothly, but they do the nitty-gritty of everything.
And so do they have to go through any sort of training, or can they just come on off the street and say, I'll clean your facility, or what? How does that work?
We do an orientation first. It takes about a half an hour. It's nothing too drastic or hard to do. And then from there, I talk about what they're interested in doing, because I don't want them volunteering their time in something that they don't actually want to be doing. Because it's easier to keep a volunteer coming if they're enjoying themselves.
Absolutely, yeah. So is it mainly, I don't know, retired people, or what ages do you have in terms of volunteers?
We have, I think our youngest is right around 13, and then people born in the 20s. So there's a big range.
People born in the 20s?
Born in the 20s.
Oh, that's young. That's
So
young.
yeah, young and lively.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really fun. I know when I'm working here, I'm the director here at Reach, it's fun to have other people, not that you're not fun to work with,
Wow.
but it's fun to have that activity when, say, the food shelf is being stocked, because you really realize what a community effort this is. And so we're always looking for volunteers, not just from Hawley and the outlying area, but Ulen, Hitterdal, Lake Park, anywhere. I know that Liz, the coordinator at Dress for Success, could use some volunteer help as well.
Yep, in Fargo.
And we have a site in Fargo, so there's certainly a lot of opportunities.
There are.
There are. Well, thank you so much for joining us and enlightening us. And I know that it's back to school is a busy time for a lot of people, but we'll talk to you again come holiday time, because that's really when you hit the fever pitch, right?
That's true.
Yes. Well, thank you for all that you do. Until next time.